Alright, well, welcome back to another video. Today I've got this Macintosh SE with the ROMs that allow it to have high-density drives in it. This was a Christmas gift from my 6-year-old daughter. Of course, I actually found it locally and we went and picked it up, and she gave it to me for Christmas. So haven't turned it on yet. I'm told it works. So I haven't opened it up, I haven't powered it on. I see it does have 2 floppy drives, so I'm assuming there's no hard drive in there. I don't know where it would be, but let's give it a quick boot and see if it does actually get to the flashing question mark. Now I would presume that one or both of the floppy drives are in dire need of service. It looks like I can see quite a bit of dust in there, and these drives notoriously do fail. The auto-inject, auto-eject mechanism fails on them. One of the gears is brittle and breaks. You can get replacements from eBay or Etsy. You can 3D print your own if you have a 3D printer. I do not. But yeah, it looks good. Came right up. Brightness is cranked, so the CRT is definitely used. We'll keep it down a little bit, but overall seems to be okay. So I do have a external blue SCSI here that I think should have an OS on it that will allow it to boot. Let's plug that in and see if we can get this thing actually booted up into Mac OS. So a couple other things about it. It does have the programmer buttons on the side here, which is always nice. The buttons are buried within the machine on the digital board, so you can do reset or restart. Now, on this side we have a mouse holder. This actually looks like a mouse holder for a Mac Plus mouse. I'm sure it'll work for any mouse. I've got one of the newer ADB mouse 2s here. Yeah, that fits in there nicely, but not really what it was designed for. Not sure why this particular mouse holder is on this particular Mac. Maybe somebody had taken it off of a Plus when they upgraded and just wanted to keep the mouse holder, but certainly not for this Mac. You can actually grab a Mac Plus mouse here. Alright, so yeah, clearly this is a Mac Plus mouse holder, this being a Mac Plus mouse, but not sure why it's on this machine. Doesn't make any sense. Alright, so it's complaining about Apple Photo Access. I presume that's just an architecture problem with this processor and this particular OS that I have on this blue SCSI. Alright, so we are booted up here into, well, I believe 753. At least that's what the name of my blue SCSI image is. Let's take a look at about this Macintosh. And it is indeed 753. So this is running 4 megs of RAM. So fairly standard setup. I think 4 is the max for an SE. And otherwise everything seems okay. The next thing you'll need to do is shut it down and take it apart. Look inside. So we'll get this guy shut off. Unplug it. And we'll unplug my blue SCSI. Set that to the side and unplug the keyboard and the mouse. Set that to the side over here. So to get these guys open, assuming that it's still got all the original screws in it, which they may or may not, there are 4 Torx 215 screws in these machines. These 2 here, which are easy to get from any driver, and then there's 2 in the handle up in here on both sides. I've got this tool from when I worked on Macs in the late 90s that opens these up no problem, but you can get a long shaft Torx 215 from Amazon, or probably even go to Home Depot or Lowe's and get yourself one. I'm just going to take these out and we'll see what we can find inside. I'd imagine we're going to find a very stock Macintosh SE. Perhaps has never been opened up before. I don't know if you can tell immediately from taking the screws out, but these screws had a nice click, which means they've been seated there for quite a while. But that might not mean anything. Pop these last 2 out here. Of course, they are tricky to get in even with the right tool. right there. I actually find that I have better luck setting these on their face. The CRT is protected from being put onto the work surface just by the case, so you don't have to worry about scratching it. But if you have a more rough work surface, you might want to put a towel down or something just to protect things. But on my plastic mat here, things are okay. So one word of warning about opening these guys up. Since I just had it on, the CRT more than likely is still energized. So I want to be careful not to touch anything on the analog board. I want to be careful not to touch the anode cap on the CRT itself, because those could provide potentially a fatal shock. Alright, so we got one screw out and a nice dust bunny with it. And the other one's still in there. So another quarter turn and that should free it. Still stuck. Well, probably will come out when we take the case off. Alright, so you can see on the side here you've got this line. This separates the case back from the case front. It kind of goes all around, so the way I like to get these off is to just lay them on their face again and kind of put my thumbnail and fingernails in between. Just try to kind of gently pry it apart. And usually they just pop right off. And there came the screw, got it out, and I dropped it on the floor. But it hit my foot, so I was able to find it, no big deal. Alright, so spinning it around, we can see that there are indeed 2 floppy drives in here, as predicted. I wouldn't say there's a ton of dust, but there's a good amount of dust. And so again, this is the anode cap, you don't want to touch that. This board here is the analog board, which has high voltages running through it, more than likely still. So I'm just going to avoid all those. What I do want to do is disconnect both of the floppy drives and the board to analog to digital board connector. So that is those 3 wires there. And then I should just be able to lift this board up a little bit to get these tabs into these slots. And then I can open it like a door. And you want to be careful to open it because the speaker wire is connected still. So I'm just going to carefully lay it down. And you can see that we do have the speaker wire connected still, so I can just disconnect that, no problem. Now we do have a battery in there that expired in May of 1989. So I'm going to say that is, well, I guess I don't know if it's expired in 89 or if it was manufactured in 89. But it does have a date of 1989 on it. If we can focus on it, come on. So that's going to go in my collection of old batteries. I've got a few of them in here. And what I'd like to do now is replace it with one of these CR2032 holders that I got from eBay. I talked about in a different video. So give me a second to find a CR2032. I've got a few of them around here somewhere. Alright. Now again, you don't necessarily need to have a battery in these machines to boot them or use them. It does just store the PRAM settings, like screen resolution, which probably isn't going to change very much on an SE. Date time, which might be important to you. If you're just using it for games, probably not super important, but there are a few settings that it will store in there. And if you got them, might as well use them. So I'm going to insert the CR2032 battery in here. So we've got plus going up. That should go in like that. And then this is marked negative and positive here. And this is marked positive on this side. So I'm going to put it in here like that. All right. Seems like a pretty good fit. Again, when I did review these, I noticed that they are kind of, don't quite fit in there super well. If you put it in upside down, looks like you got a really good fit that way, but then you can't see the cool Mac. All right, so I can plug the speaker wire back in now. I guess since I do have the board out, I will inspect it. You see we've got the 4 1 meg sims here. It's a bit dusty, but otherwise, you know, it looks like it's in good shape. And again, there's no electrolytic capacitors on here. It's all tantalums, other than these couple of axial ones here, but they don't tend to ever leak. I probably shouldn't say ever, but they haven't leaked for the most part in the past, you know, 30 years, 30 plus years. I guess we're in 2023 now. So that would be 34 years. Anyway, board otherwise seems to be in really good shape. I don't see any sort of damage to it. So I'm going to go ahead and just reinstall it. Like I said, I will reconnect the speaker wire first. Make sure I get that lined up properly. And then I'll slide in this side. And we'll close it like a door. And slide it all the way down. So that's reinstalled. Next I need to reconnect my connector from the digital board to the analog board, and then we'll reconnect the 2 floppy drives. I think at some point I'll probably be putting a replacement hard drive in here. I don't really use floppies too much myself, with BlueSCSI and zip drives kind of being the bulk of my file transfer capabilities. Though I do have some floppies, and we'll test these out to see if they do need service, which I assume they will. Good enough for now. So I will reinstall the lid. So you get this with them too. This is the RF shield. Just kind of sits on the back like that. And then we've got the case here. So this is a later one. This one doesn't have any of the developer signatures in it. Some of the earlier SEs do have signatures in them. This one does not. So let's kind of drop it on there and make sure things are lined up. And with the programmer buttons, they do kind of snag sometimes, so you might have to pry them away, which I believe is what's happening here. So we'll put the RF shield back on. We can get the case on no problem. Nice and tight, and then we can fold the programmer buttons back on. And if I push them, I can feel the resistance of the actual buttons, so they are lined up correctly. So next I will reinstall the Torx T15 screws. We've got the 2 that go back in the handle up here. There's a couple of ways you can put them in. I kind of like to just slide them down as far as I can and drop them, and then hope that they land right side up. That one did not. I'll try this one. And that one did, so 1 out of 2. So I'll tighten this one back down. And we'll tighten the back too. So again, no idea if this machine has never been opened since it was built or not, but certainly has now. Things seem pretty good with it. I'll try this one more time here, kind of just slide it along my finger. And we got it right that time. I'll get the Torx driver in there. And we'll just spin that around until it's nice and tight. Alright. So that being said, I think we're good to make sure it still works. We'll plug the power back in. Plug my keyboard and mouse back in. And we'll just boot it back up. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to plug my BlueSCSI back in, because I do want to boot it. So while it's booting, I've got a couple of discs here, the iOmega zip driver and SCSI Probe version 4X and 5X. Let's pop both these in and see if these drives work. I definitely accepted both of them, so that's good. We'll see when it boots if it can actually read them though. Alright, I hear it attempting to read at least one of the discs. Seems like it may not be able to read the disc. Alright, so for one of the discs it says it can't read it. Let's eject that one. Alright, so this drive definitely maybe having some head alignment problems, but the auto inject and auto eject seem to work. And the alignment could just be as simple as requiring a disc clean to clean the heads. I believe now it's trying to read the second disc. Yeah, same problem. So no surprise there. Had a bit of a weaker eject, so certainly could use some work, but it works for now. So anyway, I think, now that we've taken the battery out, we've gotten rid of the immediate danger to this machine. We can certainly worry about the floppy drives later. So anyway, thank you for your time. I hope you have a great rest of your day.